What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and dogs and cats of the internet? This is Devon with Gaming in Progress, and today we will be playing War Thunder. We will be doing ground and aerial battles on arcade, and I will be going over various aspects of the game. I will be playing it today on PlayStation 4, though it is also available on various computers. It's going to take a few seconds to load up here, so please be patient. Okay, so getting right in here, we can see that we will be starting off on the arcade battles for tanks. Now there are two main types of vehicles in this game. Those are land and aerial vehicles. If we look over here, we can see my aerial vehicle selection, though it will take a couple seconds for the planes to load. It's not something I can change, it's just how it is. And I believe I also would have to change it to, I would also have to change it to air arcade battles. Okay, so as you can see, I have a very wide multitude of planes, and there are several different factions. Now, because of the recent release of the tanks for the American faction, I have been mainly playing as planes in the American faction and was using the German faction for my tanks. I will continue to do this as I don't feel like going through the American faction's tank division, as I already have enough progress on the German tank division. Now, as you can see here, we have America, Germany, China. My bad. This is Russia, actually. Russia, Britain, and Japan. Now, each of these factions has a armor division and an aviation division. Each one with their own types of fighters with their pros and cons, as you can see here. Each has aviation and an army force. Now, one thing I'd like to look at before we get started is just briefly the skill tree. Or the research tree, rather. The research tree is how you will be unlocking all your planes and your tanks. You start off with your reserve plane or planes, depending on the faction, and your reserve tanks. Now you have to work your way down and across the research tree, which is pretty easy to follow. But inside of that research tree, each individual vehicle also has a research tree. What you do is you go down to modifications, and you can see that each plane and tank, or anti-air gun even, has its own small research tree that you must use to unlock the various weapons and defensive abilities. Now we're going to jump into an air battle real quick, so you guys can get a feel of what that's like. Now, one of the interesting aspects of this game is the fact that it was originally a PC game that was ported to PlayStation 4, but the real interesting part is that when they ported it, they combined the servers, meaning PC players can actively play with PlayStation players and vice versa. You can even be friends with those PC players via the in-game friends list, which can accommodate for your Facebook friends, your PlayStation friends, and your PC friends. Now, by default, if you're playing from a PlayStation, your username in-game is going to be your PlayStation ID. Whereas PC players obviously have the choice to customize their name. PC players also have the ability to choose custom skins and stuff as well, but that's a trade-off of playing on PC versus PlayStation. Now I'm going to be starting with the B-25J1 here, which is one of my Tier 2 planes. And it is a bomber, obviously. You can choose what types of bombs you want. I generally go for arcade mode with the 100-pound bombs because they get the job done. And I can drop them quicker on a small group of targets. Say instead of attacking a base, if I was to attack an AA gun or tank units, I would be able to do so much quicker by dropping several bombs. Sure as this map is very cloudy right now, and I am having quite a bit of difficulty seeing. Okay, here we go. Now, one thing about bombers is they're often targets. Not just for the fact that they drop bombs on ground units and stuff, but the fact that while they can take somewhat of a beating, they can't move as fast as the fighters, and some of the earlier bombers aren't as well armed as the larger, later bombers in the game. The B-25 is only a Tier 2 bomber, so it has moderate armament. Besides the bombs, it has several defensive turrets, but it also has a forward cannon. As you can see, I've already been targeted for attack. Which is why I have to do the best I can to evade the attack and drop my payload. Now, if we were playing on realistic, this would be even harder, because in realistic mode, your bombs do not regenerate. Meaning, once you drop your payload, rather, you have to land at an airfield to completely restock. And landing at airfields, be it arcade or realistic mode, or even simulation, will allow you to repair your plane, though, which is what I'm going to attempt to do right now, as I am under quite a bit of fire from the enemy here. Oh, not gonna be able to make it. See? But yes, bombers are targets. It's no surprise. Being a bomber isn't exactly something easy, but there is no real easy aspect to this game. You're gonna die, and you're gonna die a lot. But it's still a very enjoyable game. Kill-death ratio isn't really relevant in this game, in my opinion at least. And the main thing that this game has going is it pushes you to want to do good, to unlock higher tiered objects, be it a tank or a plane. Because the better you do, the more each hit point you deliver, each bomb you drop and successfully destroy a unit or an objective, you get lions, which are the main form of currency, and you also get RP, which is used for either your personal research for a specific vehicle, or it'll be used for research for advancing your skill tree to unlock a new vehicle. Oftentimes both. Until you max out a vehicle's personal research tree, then it's only used to advance your research level overall. Now I'm going to try and land again this time and take over this airfield. This is basically a capture mode game type. Oh. Oh. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Nope, I did not make it. That's something that happens quite a lot in aerial combat, as your wing will be cut loose. Or if they can't shoot you down, they'll simply crash into you and knock your wing loose. This has happened quite a lot to me personally because I fly bombers, and bombers aren't as easy to shoot down sometimes as people might think. Now after this plane is destroyed, I will be returning to the hangar so I can switch over the tanks. And we will do a short tank game as well, so you guys can see that. One thing I do want to note is there are two types of RP in this game. There is a standard type you earn from playing the game, destroying enemies and objectives, capturing objectives, stuff like that. And then there is also Convertible RP. Now, Convertible RP you get somewhat randomly. You can get it for playing for a certain amount of time, or completing a certain skill tree and stuff like that. But the catch with Convertible RP, as sure as I successfully am going to land this time, the catch with Convertible RP, no, they got me. Catch with Convertible RP is that you need what are known as gold eagles to be able to use the RP. Okay, it appears I have one more plane to use. And gold eagles are bought with real money. So you have to invest real money to use the Convertible RP. Now, once we're done with this, we will take a look at the prices for the golden eagles. And it can get quite high, as much as $60 to $80, I believe. Granted, you get a good amount of gold eagles for this, but it's still a lot to pay simply to be able to use Convertible RP, which is something that you should be able to use anyway, otherwise why would they give it to you? Well, the reason they give it to you is obvious. It's to try and get you to pay real money. It is worth noting, though, that when you play the game for the first time, you do get a certain amount of golden eagles for free. And there are various things you can buy with golden eagles besides the ability to use Convertible RP. And we'll take a look at that as well. And I'm going to try and prevent this airfield from being taken by the enemy. I may land, I may just try and shoot this guy down, which I'm going to do now. Oh, I got somebody, and then I got. Okay, so once you're dead, this is basically all you can do. You can either return to your hangar, or you can watch the rest of the game unfold. If you return to the hangar, you'll find that you will have to wait a certain amount of time to be able to access your vehicles again, because they'll still be on a mission. Okay, so here we see that it's mission in progress, and you won't get the full reward of your stuff until the end. Now, you also get Convertible RP from playing the game as well. You just don't get nearly as much. So, if we look here, what are the prices? Okay, so we go click on the Eagles, and I'm hoping you can see this, but this is the prices for the Eagles. Yep, I was 60, 80, 50. Granted, you can get a good amount, but that's still a lot of money to pay to be able to use Convertible RP. And the Convertible RP costs quite a bit of Eagles as well. Now let's take a look real quick at the shop. The shop is where you can buy, you guessed it, more stuff. You have access to premium plane packs and tank packs. And these are also all very expensive. Now these are all also priced similarly from what I understand on PC. So it's not a Sony thing, it's just a developer thing who created the game. And the game's been out for some time, so that's kind of understandable. They'd have quite a bit of content like this. So, I'll go back now. And let me just switch to tank quickly. Okay. Tank arcade battle. Okay. So, let's look at what you can get with the Eagles. You can get premium account, which you spend golden Eagles to keep active. Obviously, the best deal overall is the 365-day deal. but that costs a good amount of eagles. What else can you get with the eagles? Well, you can get certain things for your vehicle. You have research points that accumulate over time for your crew. Well, not research points, rather. Crew points that accumulate over time. Each kill you get crew points just like you get research points. And you spend the crew points on various skills that'll improve your reloading, how long your crew can live for, stuff like that. Now, if you try and spend like crew points you don't have, it'll ask if you want to purchase crew points. Well, you can purchase crew points for eagles as well. Okay, so what else can you purchase? Well, if you go to modifications, you can purchase backup vehicles. Now, when you start the game, you have reserve vehicles. Reserve vehicles are different from the regular vehicles because you can use them 3 times in a game. Because, well, that's all you start out with, are the reserve vehicles. But with the backup vehicle, you can use that vehicle more than once per each game. But once you use a backup vehicle, it's gone forever. You have to buy more. So while it seems kind of cheap, it can get pretty costly. And then you have a talisman, which allows you to gain an extra 100% research points while using a vehicle. Now this is actually not a bad thing. If you get one of these for a certain vehicle that you favor, you can use it to help further your progress on the research tree. Okay, so that kind of covers what you can buy in game. So we're going to run a tank battle now in arcade mode. I will not be covering the realistic or simulation modes today. That'll be for another time. One thing I want to note though is you will never really run out of silver lions. It takes quite a bit of work to run out of it. I think I ran out of them once, and I easily got a bunch more. Because they're the main currency in the game, so you get them quite frequently. Okay, so we're gonna do this tank battle now. And I'm gonna try and cut out these loading screens for you guys, if I can. Because I don't have, as you probably know, on my end, I don't have access to as much editing software as Ogre does. Okay, so we're gonna start with my tier 2 tank. I only have one tier 2 tank right now because I just unlocked it. Took quite a while to progress through the tank skills and research trees, so another reason I don't really want to go back and do it all over again for the American trees. Plus the starter or the reserve tank for the Americans doesn't have any brakes at all, and I find that very annoying. Also, if you're playing on console, I can't confirm this for PC or not, but if you're playing on console, there seems to be a little bit of lag at the beginning of every game. It's nothing really to worry about, it goes away relatively quickly. But you will have people run into you a lot. Okay, so if I can get past these guys. As you can see in arcade, there's it's just team versus team. If it was in realistic, you'd see all German tanks on one team or all American tanks on the other team. Whereas on arcade, you can have German, American, Russian, Japanese tanks all on the same team. I don't really see too many people using the Russian or Japanese tanks that often, though. At least not on my end. Okay, so we're gonna roll up here. See if we can take these guys out. Oh, well, they got me pretty quick. Okay, well that was kind of suckish. This seems to happen a lot too. I don't know if it's just luck or what, but a lot of the times you get one hit shot by a tank, and it's kind of frustrating, especially when you just got a tier 2 tank. But you just grin and bear it and you deal with it, so. Okay, so put me in front of a rock. A rock lobster, a rock lobster, okay. So we're gonna go back over here and try and capture A. One thing to note about the tank I was using prior to this one, the Stug, it has a very small firing arc, so if you ever see one in game, just get up on its butt and start popping at it, because it can't rotate fully. Only has a 45-degree targeting arc. So, alright, now let's see if I can see anybody. I see nobody. They're all shooting at somebody though. If you look at some of the items for the tank, you have different shell types. Some tanks have more shell types than others. You have artillery, which is next to the tank shell types. And then after that you have fire extinguishers, which you have to work to unlock. But when you get fire extinguishers, if your tank catches on fire, you can quickly douse out the fire, and provided your ammunition doesn't catch on fire and explode, you will live, which is really helpful. And then you have the 3 planes. There are kind of score streaks or kill streaks in this game when it comes to the ground battles. So if you get enough, if you meet certain requirements, you can actually use planes briefly in the tank battles. They're not your planes, they're just planes. When you're attacking a vehicle, you want to look for the areas that are green, that light your reticle up green, because those are the areas that you can actually do some damage. Now, not every area green even will show as damage. You just gotta find the right soft spot, and then when you get the points, you know you're hitting the right spot. Okay. So what I usually do if I feel I'm about to explode, is I call in mortars. That way I have a good chance of still doing some damage to the enemy even after I'm dead. Sometimes I'll move out of the way of the mortars, sometimes I won't. But it's a chance you gotta take. Okay, so this is my last tank. I'm not going to use the reserve tanks. I've explained it, but I don't really care to use the reserve tanks. The German reserve tanks aren't all that great either. They have a really good turn rate. However, their brakes are better than the American brakes, but they're still not perfect. None of the tanks seem to have very good brakes in this game. But that's pretty realistic, actually. My problem with the German reserve tank really is the cannon is very weak. I believe it's a 25mm cannon. So you get a good amount of shots off, more than just one shot at a time, but the damage is pretty minimum. It's mainly for going up against other light tanks. And I haven't found much use for it, other than using it just to spam people with mortars. Okay, so we're going to try and make our way over here again. And look both ways. Look both ways when you cross the street, children. Otherwise you'll get ran over by a tank. If you're wondering why my tanks are all kind of American colored, that's something I did with the decals. I stretched the decals to make it look like custom skins, since I don't have access to any of the unlockable camos yet, or the custom user skins that PC users have. Okay, there's this guy over here. Can I do something to him? No, not there. Yep, I lost him. Okay, so he backed up, and he's probably gonna stay backed up now. Backed up like a toilet. Okay, there's a lot of mortar fire over there. Not sure what everybody's shooting at, but let's continue to head this way, I guess. Some of these tanks are kind of hard to get going once you stop them too. I've noticed that, but again, it's probably pretty realistic. The developers did a really great job with this game. It looks good, it plays good. For the most part, it's nice and smooth, except for the beginning, obviously. It's fun. I would definitely give it a try if you're into vehicle-based game combat, if you like World War II games, or if you just are looking for a new free game to play on your PlayStation. Could you not get in my way, buddy? Aw, he blew him up. I want to blow him up. Why didn't you let me blow him up? Get out of my way. Oh, okay, that's warning us that there's gonna be artillery fire over here. Oh, there's another one. Okay, this one's a weaker tank, obviously, because I'm doing damage to it in the red. So I should be able to take out this one. Okay, well I got a kill assist at least. So that's something. Like I said, your kill death ratio in this game isn't super important. It's just mainly about getting points. Every little bit of points helps. So, okay, let's see if I can call in artillery on anyone. Okay, that guy over there. I will call artillery on. Okay, and I helped capture the zone, so there's more points right there as well. Let's drive over here and see what's going on. Okay, there's something over there. Oh, there's a tank right there. He's heading around this corner. So we're gonna go around this corner and blast his ass. Okay. You're getting shot, buddy. Oh, our loader's unconscious. Is there another one over here or what? Oh, there is. Shit. There's two over there. There's a little guy and a big guy. Yep, they are all up in now. Okay, but yeah, as you can see, if you're in a tier 2 game and you're driving around in a tier 1 tank, you're gonna be decimated. And I only have one tier 2 tank right now, and I'm trying to get it properly leveled up. So, okay, well we're gonna return to the hangar now. Okay, and then I'll get the results later. Okay, so a couple of more things I want to go over before we end this. Now, as I said, this isn't exactly the easiest game of all time. So if you go into the options, you have single missions, and you also have the dynamic campaign, and you have tutorial as well, and that'll be very helpful for new players because it's something that you're going to have to learn to get used to. And you also have to learn to work as a team. So if you play it with your friends, it'll be a lot more enjoyable of an experience. I'm playing by myself because I'm the only one on right now. But it's always more fun to play this kind of game with your friends. You can strategize how you're going to attack an objective. You can support each other while you're repairing your tank and stuff like that. Anyway, I hope this video has been instructive to you or helpful in some way. I hope you'll give this game a try, because it's definitely a fun game. I wouldn't call it a super rewarding game or a super non-rewarding game, but it's definitely enjoyable to play. is that you have fun playing the game. This has been Devon with Gaming in Progress, and if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have a comment or there's something you want to see or a question you have, leave a comment below. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and subscribe if you're new here. And I'll see you guys on the next video.